Hello everyone, my name is Nidhi Chauhan. I am assistant professor in Suresh Ganvia School of Pharmacy, which is in Suresh Ganvia University, Jaipur. So today we are going to study about phenol in this pharmaceutical organic chemistry second, which comes in your third semester. So the learning objectives. In this, we are going to study about the qualitative test of phenols. Means here we are going to here if a unknown sample is given in a lab, then how we will going to identify that it is phenol or it is any other its substituents. So here we are going to study about the qualitative test of phenol. Secondly, we are also going to learn about the structure and uses of phenol and its substituted phenols also. Means here we are going to study about the phenol and its substituted structures and its uses. Secondly, the student outcome. Here, the student will going to know about the identification test shown by the phenol. Means if the sample given, unknown sample is given in the lab, then how we are going to identify, how we will do the testing with it so that we can identify that this is a sample of the phenol. Secondly, we are going to also know about the structure and uses of the substituted. The substituted means here the sorcinol, naphthol, cresols, and phenols, the uses of it and its structure. So the student will going to know about these things in this today's lecture. Next, phenol. Now here, phenol, we have already studied about this topic in our last three lectures, sorry. And here we are only going to study about the qualitative properties and the structure and uses of its substituted phenol. So what is the phenol? Shortly, I am describing it. That a class of organic compound which has a hydroxyl group, that is OH, directly attached to an aromatic hydrocarbon ring, are called as phenol or phenolics. Means here a hydroxyl group OH, that is OH is your hydroxyl group. When it is attached to any chain, then it is said that it is a aliphatic, or you can say in a aliphatic chain, if it is attached, then it is a alcohol in that case. And if it is attached to any, if it is attached, if this hydroxyl group is attached to any aromatic hydrocarbon ring, then it is known as phenols. Both are same, but first the alcohol which are we calling, that is your aliphatic chain when it is attached to any saturated or unsaturated chain. And secondly, if it is attached to an aromatic hydrocarbon ring, then it is known as your phenol. So phenols are widely used in the medicinal field and food industry. So here it is said that the phenol is very widely used in the medicinal field and the food industry also. This is the reason they are widely synthesized at industrial level. That is why they are synthesizing at industrial level in a very widely synthesizing. That we are synthesizing this phenol in the industrial level. Apart from this, phenol are produced by plants and microorganisms as well as. This phenol is also produced by plants and this microorganism as well as. This alcohol, you can say the phenol is also an alcohol because OL group is attached to it. But this is a case that it is attached to an aromatic hydrocarbon. And it is also producing it. Phenol can be also producing by the plant and the microorganism, and an aromatic hydrocarbon ring may have one or more phenolic group attached to it. So here, if means that aromatic hydrocarbon ring is having one or more phenolic group. Phenolic group means hydroxyl groups are attached to it. Means at the first position of the carbon on this aromatic ring, the phenol group is attached. OH group is attached. Then it can be on ortho position. It can be on meta position. It can be on para position. So here this means saying that the aromatic hydrocarbon ring may have one or more phenolic group attached to it. Next, identification of phenol in an organic aromatic compound is important. To know its various characteristics which help in formation of drug, disinfectant, etc. Means here we are producing it, we are synthesizing it at industrial level. Why we are producing it at industrial level? Because we have to, after that, the production of this phenol, we have to produce, we have to form a drugs and disinfectant from this phenol. That is why we are synthesizing. So the identification of the phenol in this organic aromatic compound is important, because we want to know that what is the characteristic and what it can help in the formation of this drug and the disinfectant, etc. also, and many other things also. Phenols are acidic in nature. So here phenols are acidic in nature, and this property of phenol helps in test for phenol. So phenols are acidic because these are containing the OH group, and here this acidic property also helps in the testing for phenol. Means if we are testing it on the litmus paper, then acidic show the acidic here shows the red color. Red color is shown by the, if the litmus paper turns red, then it means it is the organic compound is acidic. So here phenol can also be, here we can also test it through the litmus paper also. So here the, because it is having a acidic nature and its property of phenols is having a help in test for phenol. So this property helps in the testing of phenol to identify it in the labs or in the industrial level that this unknown sample is your phenol. So here test for phenolic group in an aromatic compound can be done by various methods. So testing can be done by various methods. In this PPT, we will discuss 5 chemical tests to detect presence of phenol functional group in an aromatic. So in here we are going to study about the 5 test, qualitative test, or you can say the identification test, so that we can detect or we can identify the phenol in our labs or on the industrial basis when we are synthesizing it. Again, I'm telling you once again that a phenol which is having that aromatic hydrocarbon ring which is having a OH group attached to it, that is known as phenol. And these are very widely synthesizing in our industry also, because these are helping the formation of your drugs and your disinfectants, etc. also. And because of its acidic property, it is showing the test, and it is showing the test, and it also helps in the identifying the phenol, identifying its showing its property. And that is why we can identify, here we are going to discuss about the 5 chemical tests through which we can identify that this is your phenol, and this phenol is present in this aromatic compound. Means it is phenol, this hydroxyl group is attached to the aromatic compound. Next is your test for phenol. So here we are going to discuss this 5 chemical identification test where the detection of phenol functional group can be done by following tests. So here we are detecting this phenol functional group by these following tests. First is your litmus test, second is your ferrichloride test, third is your phthalate dye test, now is your Lieberman test, then is your bromine water test. So here we are litmus paper, we are detecting it through the litmus paper. Secondly, ferrichloride, here we are reacting it with the ferrichloride. Now secondly is dye test. So here phenolphthalein dye is also, we are using Lieberman test. Next is a bromine water, where we are using the bromine in this test. So any of the above tests can be used to detect the phenol group in a compound. So here the following tests are given for the detection of your phenol group in a compound. Next, first we are going to discuss about the litmus test. So what is your litmus test? So here we are going, what is our aim? Our aim is to detect the presence of phenol functional group in a given sample. Means here wahi same thing that I am telling you in the previous slide, that a unknown sample is given and we have to test the phenol functional group in that sample, that is there a presence of the phenol functional group or not. Next is your theory. So what will be the theory? Here the litmus paper changes color if the solution is acidic or basic in nature. Same, litmus paper is that paper which changes color, which shows color if the solution is your acidic or basic in nature. If the solution is acidic, then it will give red color. The paper will turn to red. If it is your basic, then it will turn to blue. And if it neutral like water, then it will remain unchanged. So next, acidic solution turns blue litmus paper into red. Same, and basic solution turn red litmus paper into blue. Means here same. If we are turning that paper in the basic solution, then it will turn blue. After that, if we turn that blue paper, litmus paper, into the red in the acidic solution, then it will turn into red color. Same thing in basic solution. Now this red color litmus paper is again turned into dip into this basic solution, then it will turn into the red litmus paper, sorry, blue litmus paper. It will turn this red litmus paper into your blue litmus paper. So phenols are your acidic in nature, so they show the litmus test. So here phenols are your acidic, that is why they will show test to this litmus test. Here you need to keep in mind that carboxylic acids also give this test. So here we have to keep in mind that your carboxylic acid is also giving the same test, because the carboxylic acid is also your acidic in nature. That is why it is giving the same test, litmus test. So the compounds who are acidic in nature, that are also showing the same test, like your carboxylic acid. So to distinguish between the two, you need to compare carboxylic acid and phenol. Now, if you think that the given sample is your it can be a carboxylic acid also. You cannot prove that this is your phenol sample. So here, what we need to distinguish between these carboxylic acid and phenol. You have to compare between these carboxylic acid and your phenol. So phenol is less acidic in comparison to carboxylic acid. So here phenol are less acidic. Phenols are less acidic in comparison to your carboxylic acid. That is why when carboxylic acid reacts with your sodium carbonate, then it gives effervescence, while phenol does not. So here phenols are, because carboxylic acid are more acidic than your phenol, that is why when your carboxylic acid, if we react this carboxylic acid with your sodium carbonate solution, then it will give effervescence. There will be a bubbles on that. So here effervescence will generate, and if we react this phenol with this sodium carbonate, because of its less acidic property, it will not show this test. It does not going to show this test. So here, thus, the litmus test is not a confirmation test. We can't say that it is a confirmation test so that we can detect this phenol in a solution of organic compound. So here the material required. So to do this test, we need blue litmus paper, dropper, and your test tubes, etc. And the procedure will this that we have to take the solution in a test tube of this given sample, and we have to place this 1-2 drop of it on the blue litmus paper. So here, then the observation, what we will observe that the color of the litmus paper changes from blue to red color. So the result will be that the given solution may contain phenol. So here we can say if it changes to your red color, and after comparing it with the carboxylic acid, we can say that the result of this test, litmus test, will be that the given solution, your given solution may contain your phenol. So the precautions, precautions we have to take is that phenol is poisonous and corrosive in nature, so must be handled carefully. So it must be handled carefully. It is poisonous and you're corrosive in nature. Next test is your ferric chloride test. So here ferric chloride test, the aim is your same aim that you have to detect the phenol functional group in a given sample. So here the theory is that this test is based on the fact that the phenol give a colored complex with a neutral ferric chloride solution, and phenol group react with ferric ion of ferric chloride and form a colored complex such as C6H5OH, that is your simplest phenol, and it react with this ferric chloride and form a violet colored complex. So here reaction is given below. You can see in this test that this test is based on the fact that the phenol, here phenol is giving a colored complex with this ferric chloride, neutral ferric chloride solution. So here we are making a ferric chloride solution, and after that we are reacting with this phenol is giving when reacting with this ferric chloride, it is giving a violet color, violet complex. So here phenol group react with this ferric ion. After that, ferric ion of this ferric chloride, and it is forming a complex with this phenol, and then reacting with this ferric chloride and form a violet complex. Here violet complex is formed, which is containing this FeC6H5O6. So here this ferric ion from this ferric chloride is forming a complex with this phenol. You can see here, this is forming a complex. This is your complex. This is your complex. Violet complex were written. Fe, this is ferric ion. This ferric ion is reacting with the ferric ion from this ferric chloride is reacting with this phenol, and it is giving a complex. This is your violet complex. And here we are getting this HCl and this hydronium ion also, that is your proton also. Next is your what are the material required for this test. The material required will be test tubes, ferric chloride solution, and your dropper, plus your unknown sample. Next is your procedure. Now how we will perform it. Now we have to firstly prepare this ferric chloride solution, and after preparing this ferric chloride solution, to prepare this ferric chloride solution, we need a neutral ferric chloride solution, and in that we have to add a diluted solution of NaOH there to ferric chloride solution, and slowly until a permanent brown precipitate is formed. For this preparation of ferric chloride, we need to prepare a neutral ferric chloride solution. For it, we have to add the diluted solution of NaOH, which is your sodium hydroxide, to this ferric chloride solution slowly until till we get a permanent brown precipitate is produced. Next, now filter it. Now we have to filter it and then remove the precipitate. And after that, the clear filtrate thus obtained is used for the test of phenol. So here we have to filter it, then remove the filtrate. After that, the clear filtrate thus obtained is used for the test of phenol, and it should be prepared freshly for the test. And here it should be prepared freshly. This preparation of ferric chloride solution should be prepared freshly for this test, so that we can detect the presence of phenol functional group in a given sample. Next is your After that, what we have to do is we have to take the 3 ml of the given solution in a test tube, the unknown solution, and then add freshly prepared neutral ferric chloride solution in it dropwise. So here we have to take 3 ml of this solution of the test tube, and after that we have to add the neutral ferric chloride solution dropwise, and we have to check the color change. So here the brown color will change into your violet color. So observation. So here what we will observe that if the color of the solution becomes blue, green, violet, or red, this indicates the presence of phenol group. Means here if the color of the solution, the 3 ml given solution in a test tube is changed, is changing, is transforming into your blue color, green color, violet color, or your red color, then this is indicating that there is a presence of a phenol group, because phenol has the substituents also and derivatives also, sorry, and ortho, meta, or para cresol resorcinols give violet color or your blue color, and your beta naphthol gives your green color, and alpha naphthol gives your pink color. So here, and formic acid and your acetic acid also, because they are also the acidic, they are also acids, and these are the carboxylic acids. So here they can also give this test, and they are also giving this deep red color in this after this ferric chloride, neutral ferric chloride solution is added in that. So here the reaction will be that the reaction involved in the experiment can written as this 3AROH, which is your phenol, and when it is reacting with this FeCl3, and after that this phenol from this ferric chloride, this ferric ion will react and form a complex, colored complex. So it can be a violet color complex, or it can be a blue color complex, it can be a green color complex, or it can be a red color complex. So this blue, violet color or your blue color will show that there is a presence of this orthometa or para resols or your resorcinols. And next is your beta naphthol will giving you a green color, and alpha naphthol is giving you pink color. So here the result, it shows that the given solution contains phenol. The given unknown solution, or you can unknown sample, contains phenol organic compound. Next is your precautions. So here we have to use freshly prepared dilute and neutral solution of this ferric chloride. Okay, next is your third test. That is your phthalate dye test. So here most of the phenol give the test accurately and show the result precisely. Means here this test, the phenol which are showing this test, they give this test very accurately, and they are showing the result very precisely. This test is used for the detection of the phenol. So here the aim will be or to detect the presence of your phenol functional group in a given sample. The aim of all the given tests will be the same, because we have to detect the presence of your phenol functional group in a sample, in a unknown sample, means in a given unknown sample. So here the theory of this test will be all that the phenol get condensed on heating with the phthalic anhydride in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, and it forms phenolphthalein. So here this phenol, which is your hydroxyl group, is attached to this phenol. It get condensed on heating. When we heat it, it get condensed with your phthalic anhydride, and in the presence of there is a presence of your concentrated sulfuric acid, and here we are getting a phenolphthalein, and a phenolphthalein gives pink colored compound on reaction. Here it is giving a pink colored compound on reaction with a limited amount of sodium hydroxide. So here we are using a limited amount of sodium hydroxide, while in excess of sodium hydroxide, it give a colorless compound. So here we are using a limited amount of sodium hydroxide solution. Not other, if we are using it in excess, then it is not giving any color. So it will be a colorless compound. So here we have to keep in mind that we have to use sodium hydroxide in a limited amount, not in an excess amount. Otherwise, we are getting a colorless compound. So here phenol gets condensed on heating. Here it is getting condensed on heating with your phthalic anhydride in the presence of your concentrated sulfuric acid and forming what? Phenolphthalein. So phenolphthalein here, which is formed by this phenol test, phenol reaction, it is giving a pink colored compound. And here we are also using uh, uh, um, and here we are using also limited amount of sodium hydroxide, but in excess amount it is not giving it is giving a colorless compound. So here the material required will be test tubes, given an organic compound, giving that unknown sample, phthalic anhydride, concentrated sulfuric acid, sodium hydroxide, distilled water, burner, because burner we are needed here because we have to heat the this phenol, and oil bath and the dropper we are needed this. We are requiring these things, that the test tube we are requiring organic compound also, we are requiring phthalic anhydride also, concentrated sulfuric acid also, sodium hydroxide, distilled water, burner, oil bath, dropper, etc. Next is your procedure. So what will be the procedure if we are performing this test, this phthalate dye test? So here we have to take a clean dry test tube. In that dry test tube, we have to add 100 gram of this given organ unknown sample in this test tube. After that, we have to add this 100 mg of phthalic anhydride in the same test tube. Firstly, we have taken the 100 mg of given sample, and after that, we are adding 100 mg of this phthalic anhydride, same test tube, that is your dried test tube. After that, we are adding your two to 3 drop of concentrated sulfuric acid in the same test tube in which sample and phthalic anhydride has been taken. After that, heat the test tube in an oil bath. So we have to heat the test tube on this oil bath for about 2 minutes. So here, after that, we are cooling the mixture of this test tube. After heating for 2 minutes, we are cooling the mixture and we are pouring the mixture of the test tube in a beaker carefully, which contains 15 ml of dilute sodium hydroxide solution. So here we are, we have taken your 100 mg of the given sample. After that, in the same test tube, we are adding the 100 mg of the phthalic anhydride. After that, we are adding 2 to 3 drop of your concentrated sulfuric acid in that test tube. After that, we are heating it on the oil bath for your 2 minutes. And after 2 minutes, we are cooling it. After cooling, this test tube is then transferred into the beaker which already containing 15 ml of your dilute NaOH, that is your sodium hydroxide solution. And after that, we are observing the color change. So here we are observing the color change, that what color will come after the transfer of this mixture from the test tube to the beaker. So here the color will be, or if the color of the reaction mixture changes to pink, red, green, or blue, then it indicates the presence of your phenol group in the organic compound. So here the pink, red, green, or blue, these 4 colors will indicate that there is a presence of your phenol group in the given organic compound. However, here we need to note that if sodium hydroxide solution is added in large amount, that it may cause disappearance of color and we get a colorless compound. So this should be kept in mind, that we have to use this sodium hydroxide solution in a given amount, not in a large excess amount. Otherwise the color that comes in the which will show the presence of phenol group will get disappeared, and we will getting here a colorless compound. So the color produced by various phenol compound and with ethylene dye test are given below. So here you can see phenolic compound and in the color changed, which show which phenolic compound it is. So here O-cresol. O-cresol means orthocresol, which means if the red colors come, then it will be your orthocresol. If bluish or the purple color will come, then it will be your metacresol. If your no color, if it show no color, then it will be your paracresol. Then reddish pink here shows that it is your phenol, that it shows the presence of your phenol. If green color or your light green color, then it will be your 1 naphthol, 2 naphthol. And next is your yellow to green fluorescence, means here it contains resorcinol. So these are the 3 tests. After that, the 4th test is your Lieberman test. So here what precautions we have to take. The reaction involved, the result will be the given organic compound contain phenol group, and the precaution will be the phenol is poisonous or your corrosive in nature, so must be handled carefully. The concentrated sulfuric acid, which is your concentrated solution, is concentrated, it should be handled very carefully. Some phenols are strong acids which contain an electron withdrawing group and get dissolved in sodium hydrogen carbonate solution as well. So here some are strong acids that contain your extra electron withdrawing groups and get dissolved in your sodium hydrogen carbonate solutions. Next is your Lieberman test. So here this test is given by those phenols which have a free para position. So this test is given by that phenols which are having a free para position. So here the position on that para position, there should be no substituent attached on it. So that phenolic compound will give this Lieberman test. So here the aim will be the same. Here we are also detecting the presence of your phenol functional group in a given sample. So the theory will be that when phenol is dissolved in concentrated sulfuric acid and sodium nitrate is added in it, then in the mixture sodium nitrite react with your concentrated sulfuric acid and given nitrous acid and sodium sulfate. See, in this we have to dissolve this phenol in the concentrated sulfuric acid and your sodium nitrite is added in it. Okay, then in this mixture in this mixture sodium nitrate is reacting with this concentrated sulfuric acid and we are getting this nitrous acid and your sodium sulfate. Now this nitrous acid react with your phenol. Now after the reaction between these two reagents, the given product, that nitrous acid, after that this nitrous acid is reacting with this phenol and we are getting this para nitrosophenol, and this nitrophenol in excess of phenol and on dilution gives indophenol complex, which is red in color. Then indophenol complex react with strong alkali, that is your NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Then it forms a blue colored indophenol anion, and the reaction involved can be written as this. The sodium nitrite sulfate is reacting with this sulfuric acid. Then we are getting this nitrous acid and this sodium sulfate. So here sodium nitrate is reacting with the sulfuric acid and we are getting a nitrous acid, and here we are getting the sodium sulfate. So here the theory is that the phenol is dissolved in your concentrated sulfuric acid and sodium nitrate is added in it. After that, the the concentrated sulfuric acid and your sodium nitrate is reacting with it, and there is a formation of this nitrous acid and sodium sulfate. After that, this nitrous acid is reacting with this phenol and give para-nitrophenol. This para-nitrophenol is axis of phenol, or you can say in dilution, it will give a indophenol complex, which is your red in color. After that, this indophenol complex is reacting with the strong alkali, that is your NaOH, and it is forming a blue colored indophenol anion. After that, this reaction can be written as this: sodium nitrate sulfate, sulfuric acid, nitrous acid, and sodium sulfate is formed. So here the material that are required in this reaction are test tube holder, given organic compound, given sample. You can say concentrated sulfuric acid, sodium hydroxide, sodium nitrite, distilled water, and your burner. Now in this, what will be the procedure? The procedure will be, you have to take a clean dry test tube, you have to place that sodium nitrate crystal in it. After that, you have to add 100 mg of your phenolic compound in it, then heat the test tube for about 30 to 35 seconds. Then you have to allow the test tube to cool. Now add 1 ml of your concentrated sulfuric acid. You have to shake the test tube. After that, gently and carefully, so that the mixture on this content will mix. After that, you have to observe the change in color and dilute the solution with water. If a phenolic group is present in this given compound, then on dilution, it will give you a red color compound. And now we have to add sodium hydroxide in this red solution. After that, we have to observe the color, that what will be the next color. Next, in this, we will observe that when we dilute the solution with water, solution turns red in color. And on adding sodium hydroxide in it, solution turns blue, deep blue color. So here, result, the deep blue color confirms the presence of phenol in the given sample. Firstly, when we are diluting it with water, it turns red color. Then we are not confirmed that it is a phenol group that is present in that given sample. But after we are adding this NaOH in it, then this solution, that is the solution that turns into the blue deep color, that confirmed here that there is a presence of phenol in the given sample. So here the precaution that we are taking, we should take, we are taking, or we should be taken, that concentrated sulfuric acid should be handled carefully, phenol should be handled carefully, color change should be noticed gently, and after that, during heating, the test tube must be held by using a test tube holder. We should hold the test tube, or we must hold the test tube by a test tube holder, because it is on the heating. During heating, it can burn our hands also, burns our fingers. Now the last test is a bromine water test. Here we are going to detect, same, the aim will be the same for all the 5 tests of this phenol. Here we are going to detect the presence of phenol function group in a given sample. Story is that this test is based on the electrophilic substitution reaction of phenol with bromine. When phenol react with bromine water, give a polybromo derivative. All hydrogen atoms present at ortho and the para position in phenol with respect to this OH group are replaced by this bromine atom. Thus, by reaction of phenol with bromine, white precipitates of tribromophenol is formed. So here the material required will be bromine water, glacial acetic acid, given sample, test tube, and the distilled water. So here the material required will be the same: the bromine water, glacial acetic acid, given organic sample, test tubes, distilled water, etc. The procedure will be, we have to dissolve the given sample in a small quantity of glacial acetic acid in a clean and dry test. After that, we have to add the bromine water in the test tube slowly, and we have to observe the color. So in the observation, we will observe that the color changes from orange to your red, and then to your colorless, and a white precipitate is formed. So here the result, the white precipitate here confirming that there is a presence of phenol in the given sample. Here precaution that we should take that is that bromine water should be handled carefully, as it may cause eye and skin irritation. After that, secondly, phenolic sample should be handled carefully because they are poisonous and corrosive in nature. Now the uses of phenol. What are the uses of phenol? So approximately two-thirds of the total phenol produced worldwide is used to prepare reagent used in plastic manufacturing industry. So this phenol is using in the preparation of your reagent, as well as it is also used in the plastic manufacturing industries also. The polymerization reaction of phenol with formaldehyde is used to commercially prepare phenolic reagent. So here this polymerization reaction of this phenol with this formaldehyde here is used as to prepare the phenolic reagents. And phenol is also used in the study and extraction of biomolecules, and molecular biology finds application of phenols in extraction of your nucleic acid from tissue sample for further investigation. So here in molecular biology also, the phenol is used, and it's used as for the extraction of nucleic acid from your tissue sample. And the phenol is also used in cosmetics industry, in the manufacturing of your sunscreen, skin lightening cream, and hair coloring solutions also. Next, phenol is also a versatile precursor to a large collection of drugs, most notably aspirin, but also many herbicides and pharmaceutical drugs. So it is also a precursor for a large collection of drugs, means aspirin is widely used. So it is used as a precursor for this formation of this aspirin and many other herbicides and pharmaceutical drugs also. These are the uses of your phenol. Next, your this is your cresol. Uh, that is a derivative of this phenol. So cresols are also known as hydroxytoluenes, are organic compounds which are methyl phenols. The methyl group is attached to it. They are widely occurring naturally and manufactured group of aromatic organic compound which are categorized as phenol, sometimes called as phenolics. And cresols have a disinfectant and corrosive effect due to the degradation of protein. It can degrade the protein, so it has a disinfectant property as well as a corrosive effect also. Next, these are the isomers of cresols. You can see here the structural formula here given here. You can see the common name. First is the orthocresol, second metacresol, third is your paracresol, and the systematic name is your 2-methylphenol, that is 3-methylphenol, and the fourth one is your 4-methylcresol. Other names are orthocresol, metacresol, or your paracresol. And the molecular formula is your C7H8O for all the isomers, and the molecular mass is also the same, 108.14 gram per mole. And the appearance of these three are different. That at room temperature and pressure, the ortho shows the colorless crystals, the meta shows the thicker liquid, and the para shows the greasy looking solid. Next is your properties. So density and your phase solubility in water is also different, little bit different, and the melting point is also different. The solubility is in strongly alkaline water, and acidity also. Acidity is your ortho 10.28, meta 10.09, and your para 10.26. And toxicity, LD50 in rats, that is your 1.35 gram per kg oral, and in case of meta and this para, it is more than the ortho cresol. Next, the uses of cresol. The mixed cresols are used as disinfectant, preservative, and good preservative. Orthocresols is used as solvent, disinfectant, and chemical intermediate. Metacresol is used to produce certain herbicides as a precursor for your pyrethroid insecticide, so that it can produce antioxidant and can produce the explosive 2,4,6 nitro metacresol. And the paracresol is also used largely in the formulation of your antioxidant and in the fragments of your dye industry. And in the various drug synthesis also, this cresol is used. That orthocresol is used for the synthesis of carbacarol, and meta is used for the toliprolol, tolamolol, and the paracresol is used in the production of antioxidant, that is your BHT, that is your butylated hydroxytoluene. Next is your health hazard and information. That acute effect is your acute inhalation of this by the human. It can cause respiratory tract irritation, and the symptoms will be dryness, nasal constriction, and throat irritation. And the mixed cresol can also cause thermal strong dermal irritants. And the chronic effect is that no information is available on this chronic effect of mixed cresol in human, but on animal studies have reported that it can cause blood, liver, kidney, CNS, as well as your reduced body weight from oral and inhalation exposure to this mixed cresol. Next is your resorcinol. So resorcinol structures is this, and it is a benzene diol, and its IUPAC name is benzene 1,3-diol, and other name is your resorcinol, resorcin, meta dihydroxybenzene 1,3-benzene diol, 1,3-dihydroxy benzene 3-hydroxyphenol, meta hydroquinone, M-benzene diol, and chemical formula is C6H6O2. Molecular mass is 1,101.1 gram per mole. Appearance is white to solid, turn pink on exposure to air, light and iron. Odor is faint. Density, melting point, and the solubility in water is this, and the acidity. Next is your uses of resorcinol. So its medicinal use is your antiseptic and disinfectant, and it is used in the ointment as 5 to 10% in the treatment of chronic skin diseases, that is your psoriasis, hydrodontis, suprativa, and your eczema. It is also employed in the treatment of gastric ulcer, and its dose is this, and it is also used as analgesic and hemostatic, that can stop bleeding in its action. And 2% of is used in external vaginal itching and irritation. And your resorcinol is also used as a skin protectant and topical analgesic. Next is your chemical uses. It is used in the production of dyes, plasticizers, and UV absorbers and resin, and it is also used in the qualitative determination of ketosis and Sally-Manoff test. Next is your resorcinol also react with formaldehyde to form thermostat resin, which can also form the basis of aerogel frozen smoke. Last is your naphthol. Naphthol is a fluorescent colorless crystalline solid with the formula of this C10H7OH. It has two isomers, that is your 1-naphthol and the 2-naphthol. And differing by the location of hydroxyl group on the naphthalene ring, the naphthols are naphthalene homologous of phenol but more reactive. So its IUPAC name is this, and other names are this, and the molecular formula is also this. And molecular mass, appearance at room temperature, and temperature, density, solubility are this. Polarity of naphthol is that it contains a hydroxyl group, so that it is higher molecular, and with the oxygen atom attracting the electron density, show the bond towards itself. So for this reason, it can hog more of the electron density in the form of bond, making it polar. Solubility, and it is soluble. Naphthol is soluble. It is very versatile because of the presence of this hydroxyl group. It is very soluble. Next uses, and its uses is that it is a biomark used as a biomarker for livestock and human exposed to polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon. It is a precursor as an insecticide, and it is in Molish test is naphthol is dissolved in ethanol, and in and this test also it is used in the detection of the presence of arginine in protein also. Next, the acidic strength of this phenol, catechol, resorcinol, and hydroquinone. So resorcinol is more acidic than catechol, followed by your phenol. Hydroquinone, because it is having the strong plus M effect and weak minus I effect. Taking these factors into account, it sees that why hydroquinone is less acidic. So hydrogen bonding and the vicinity of the OH to the anion makes catechol more acidic than phenol, despite its plus M contribution. And resorcinol has only minus I effect and no counteracting electron donating effect. That is why it is your more acidic more acidic, this resorcinol. So this is this pKa of this compounds. Next is the quotients. So first question is IUPAC of amprisol. So its options are this. So the answer is your A, that is your 3-methylphenol. Second is your Lieberman test is used to identify the presence of what? The answer is your C. Next is your third question. Among the following, which is more acidic? So here orthocresol is more acidic. In phthalate dyes, the presence of phenol is confirmed by B, pink color. Next, violet or blue coloration shows in which type of test of phenol? That is shown by your perichloride test. Now the next question, fluorescent colorless solid is your naphthol. Answer is A. Seventh is your, which is more acidic? That is your resorcinol. Which is least acidic? Hydroquinone. Which compound is used in Selivanov test? That is your resorcinol. What is used in the synthesis of carbacarol? That is your cresol. So these are the questions and these are the references of this topic. So this phenol is completed according to the syllabus of this PCI that is given in your BPharm third semester. So thank you so much.